Okay. Here we go.
Welcome to Books You Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Jason.
And today we are discussing parts 3, 4, and 5 of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. So if you haven't read that far, please stop the podcast, go back and get caught up, and then join us on the replay. If you're joining us live, you can chat us up in the comment chat box. And if you are catching us on the replay, you can chat it up in the little discussion box. Whatever it is. Why are you laughing? Just because I left the building for a second? Anyway, if you would like to hear us and not see us, which doesn't sound likely based on some recent YouTube comments,
you can definitely...
we are on YouTube Music as a Podcast.
Definitely hear us.
And we're on Instagram. We're on Fable. You know, where the cool kids go for their book club needs. So we're really excited that you're here, Peggy and Allison. Shelby, where's Shelby? I know Sue J ain't gonna be with us till later. She'll catch us on the replay.
Cool.
I'm out here taking attendance. Anyway.
I feel like your intro is like slowly evolving to like a flight attendant.
Yeah, it's like how I used to deliver the ACT instructions. The students are always like, this is really calming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, good. Anyway, if you have not read up to this point, really leave now because I'm about to go for it. I'm about to be spoiling everything. I would like... Oh, yeah, it's bedtime. I will go ahead and say, I do like the book. That fact might get lost in my commentary today, but I do like the book.
Yeah. I've been talking to a lot of people on Fable lately who are like leaving reviews for this book.
Oh.
And it seems to be like generally well liked. Sometimes you get like some like low-ish scores, but it's not they're not as low as like some of the other things that I've been seeing. For some of the books that I also like really liked, but apparently people don't. But like, whatever.
Opinions. They're like, one has one and everyone stinks.
Okay.
My dad used to always say that.
I wasn't sure where we were going with that one.
You've never heard that one?
I guess I probably have. But all right, but yeah, so tell us about your thoughts.
Sadie and Samson are the two most least poor people I've ever met. I've never met them, but that I've ever seen. They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm just distracted right now because we're getting like alerts on our YouTube, but...
Okay, here we go. All right, we're good.
We're good? Okay.
It's not great, but it's better.
Oh no, well, I'm sorry if we're bad quality today, guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Our internet is full power. Yeah, aging generally means you get a bit wiser, and it's not happening with Sadie and it's not happening with Samson. And I understand that for both of them, this is likely because they have experienced tragedies and have had a hard time coping with those tragedies, like, or traumas, I guess. You know, like, Sadie lost her parents there for a couple of years. And, you know, almost lost her sister.
Yeah.
That's a trauma that she has to kind of deal with and face, especially for someone who is like someone that seeks approval so much. Not getting that from your parents for a few years in those formative years, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And then obviously with Samson, like, he has obvious trauma, like losing his mom, losing his foot, like the whole situation, super duper traumatic. But they have not progressed, right? Like, I don't know, I didn't mess with that. They have not progressed. They have not grown up at all. And they're both so focused on their own issues that they are not seeing anything in the other person, like a good friend would.
Yeah.
For example, gosh, I'm having a hard time concentrating today. I had my coffee like in the wrong order or something. For example, Sadie becomes angry that years ago Samson borrowed her, I keep wanting to call it Red Dead Redemption or whatever, but
Dead Sea,
there you go. borrowed her Dead Sea, which is signed by Dove.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, he knew that I had been dating him at one point and never said anything.
Yeah.
So she's angry 20 years later or whatever that he didn't say something. And
it's like 4.
Yeah, 4 years later. Let her go to him to ask for the engine to run the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes back and she's like, why didn't you ever say anything? Well, okay. As a friend, Sam probably should have been like, did y'all used to date? Is this going to be okay?
Mm-hmm.
But girl, no one told you that you had to get back with them. You just had to ask for the engine.
Yeah.
So again, both parties up their own butts, not deal with it. And Sam, the other way too. He's dealing all alone with his foot situation. Upset that no one is kind of like coming to care for him and help him and stuff. And again, like, no one can help either of you because you isolate yourselves and you won't communicate.
Right.
No one is a mind reader. Good friends, yes, should notice that things are up. They should notice that something is wrong on the other side there. She should notice why he spends all his time driving but never showing up to the office. She should notice and say, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
But no, instead, I'm doing all the work. Get out your own butt for like 2 seconds and go talk to your friend. And then Sam is mad at the end of our reading because he sees Marks and Sadie together. I'm having a hard time remembering all their names.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you realize you love her when she's not available. Very mature. This is so 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
They do not need to get together until they're 82. Hopefully, they both survive that long. I'm very worried that someone's going to unalive themselves in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are both on that very self-destructive, very isolated, halfway depressed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Marks is the only person who has any, like, sense of responsibility, logic, reason, or emotional maturity until he starts dating Sadie. And I'm like, what are you doing? You were on a good path in life. Anyways, Peggy points out that the book should be called Failure to Communicate. I thought that was so ironic that was the name of the band of the singer that Sadie was dating.
Yeah.
I love the way this book is written.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jason.
I'm done. That's it. That's all I needed to say. I just needed to get it out.
Thank you for coming to Nicole's TED Talk. I'm just picking.
It was a lot. I couldn't remember all the names.
No, that's okay. I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. But also, I would point out that this is sort of like the rom-com format, right? And like that's I think what we're doing here, right? Like I think in this syllabus I mentioned that this is supposed to be somewhat Harry Met Sally-esque, and so like that's the point, right? It's about lost chances and not communicating, and like that's the formula for all of these things, you know. And like it is frustrating, and honestly I usually hate like the middle act of any romance because like I mean, like, think about Well Met, right? Gold star, throwback to 2 years ago or something like that, right? Like, the beginning of the book is fun when they're meeting each other. The end of the book is fun, I guess. The middle of the book, when they just decide they're just going to hate each other for no reason, is really frustrating because, like, we know that, like, they're going to make it out. I actually don't know that they're going to make it out in this one, right? Because it's not, like, explicitly a romance.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I hope they don't. I hope that they become very good friends.
Yeah.
Who communicate with each other and care about each other and look out for each other and speak to each other.
Well, and you sort of pointed out to like the causes of it, but they're not like particularly well-adjusted human beings.
No.
To begin with.
At all.
And that's part of why they work so well together. But yes, most problems in the world could just be solved by like being like, hey man, that really bothered me. Or I think this, or whatever, right? Like, you know, Sadie's, I don't know. I feel everybody's to blame here, I guess. But like, I guess I kind of feel more for Sadie because I do feel like she's being like used more than everybody else. But her whole thing about like, well, Sam, you loved going out on the tour and getting all the attention and all that. Like, no, that destroyed his foot into like a bloody ball. and you need to chill out for a second. And like somebody had to do it. And
but he didn't say that.
Correct. And but in the moment when somebody's like calling you on it, you really can't. Right? Like, no, I get that
but
too.
communicating along the way.
Yeah, sure.
The whole time, as good partners and friends should.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, so when I go, it's a vacation. When you go, it's work. She's like, yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah. And like, that could be true. It doesn't seem to be true here, but like that could be true, right? Like, somebody else could just like that could be their absolute favorite thing.
Because we have different styles and different preferences. Okay, I also had thought at one point while I was listening to this, I was like, they really need to take like the love languages quiz, because it's very important when you're working with somebody to know which love language is really for like people in a romantic relationship, but you can like apply the information elsewhere. But like it's important to know that the way you show love and the way somebody receives gestures of love or caring, like you need to make those sync up.
Yeah.
And they are not.
Sure. Well, I think what's interesting is and this happens with everybody, but they seem to be like, well, I did this for you and I meant for this to be for you. And like, well, but like intention doesn't matter all that much, you know? Like, if I came into your office and reorganized all the yarn by size because I wanted to be helpful and do something nice for you, you would tell me kindly not to come back in here, right? Like, ever again, because it doesn't matter what the intention is. It matters how it is perceived.
Right.
And it can be perceived as meaning to be helpful and not helpful or whatever. But I mean, and going back to Sadie, like, you're right. Nobody told her to get with Dove, but like, and like once they had it, there was really no reason to like keep playing up to him. Honestly,
she was like, just too. What was the word we said last time? With the game solution.
Complicit.
Yeah, like, and she's just too passive. She just lets it keep happening.
Yeah. But her friends do too, right? Like, they say, like, oh yeah, we saw the marks all over you and the bruises and everything, and they didn't ask, like, what is wrong with you? That's wild. I don't know. I'm not sure they are all friends. I think Mark's is friends with people, but like, I'm not sure. I'm not like convinced. Sadie and Sam will tell you that they are friends. They are certainly co-workers, and they are certainly dependent upon each other. But I don't know about friends, right? And like this takes me back to the thing the grandma said, like, you know, or Sadie's grandmother said, right? Like, you can't have, you can't do charity for a friend, you know? You just like help each other out, basically, you know, but I feel like they're kind of doing charity for each other, which means that they're not really friends, you know?
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Sadie wants to be mad at everyone.
Yeah.
She wants to be the victim. And it sucks because she is a woman in a field dominated by men. It's very difficult for her to be seen as a professional and as talented and as an equal partner and creator. These are all legitimately very frustrating things. If it ever came out that she had a relationship with Dove, while she becomes like famous and, you know, part of this world, it's always going to come back to, oh, well, she was sleeping with this guy. And that's why she got to where she is. She'll never, like, not never. It's very difficult for her to stand on her own.
Right.
But sometimes we have to be strong in these areas that we feel like we're called to be in.
Right.
And if you want to be in that area, then you just have to go and do it. You know, like, she wants to be a woman producer and creator and developer of games. Well, get in there, girl. You're only holding yourself back.
Yeah.
And that's very frustrating.
Well, and then to jump so then to make that point, right? To jump straight from a relationship with Dove into a relationship with Marks. Well, not straight, but like you get it. I mean, she's running into the same problem, right? If she did not care, if she was just like, I just want to make my money and make games, then who cares, right? Because then you are not also valuing this like perception that people have of you. And it's easy to be like, well, you shouldn't care what people think, but like you do, everybody does,
right?
And then you have to like manage that expectation, and that's important, you know. If you want people to respect you, you need to be setting yourself up and asking people to help set you up in a way that presents it that way, you know. And I think it's important to think about that, like the way that you present, and it's not important for Sadie to think about necessarily, but like she needs to tell she as a team with Marks and Sam need to be like, hey, look, we need to think about the way that people perceive me, you know, as an equal or as a leader or whatever, you know. Like she drew the short straw and had to do all the PR for the game that didn't work. And like that's rough, but and then Sam was like, yeah, but like it was both our games, but like nobody knows that. And he says like, well, I try to tell people, and like you can't make people hear what you want them to hear, but I still think that there are ways to present yourselves that like mitigate that, I guess. Like doing shows together where Sam says like, you know, Sadie's the best half of this or whatever, you know, even if he doesn't like mean it, it puts it out there, you know.
Yeah, there's got to be a solid front there that this is a joint effort, and it was definitely a mistake for her to not go on the tour for that first game.
Yeah.
For sure. I love that they've grown, their business has grown, and they've got the two guys that are making the other game under their production company, their Unfair Games like unit or whatever. And she was reflecting one day, because those two guys are a couple also. And she was reflecting one day that like when they leave, like one will carry the other one's bag, and she's like, that's so nice, why can't I have that? Okay, date nice people, and number two, be nice.
Yeah,
should try that out for a while.
You know what's interesting about Sadie is like, and maybe Sam too, we just have like no human interactions given to us, right? Like Sadie does interact with Zoe, right? Like so she has this friend, and I feel like Zoe was probably the most like humanizing influence on Sadie, like whatsoever. In the same way that Marks is sort of like the most humanizing influence on Sam. But like all things considered, we don't get a lot of talk about how they interact with people that like aren't their family and aren't involved in their business. And so like I'm not shocked when they're like a little stunted, you know?
Right. They completely isolate themselves.
Yeah.
And then wonder why they're so lonely.
Yeah.
And that sucks. That is kind of like a self-fulfilling situation. You know, you get kind of caught in that loop, but you got to sort that out. That's a you problem, and you have to recognize that and fix it, you know. I really love learning about Anne Lee, learning about his mom, about Sam's mom. And like that poster that was hanging, that was her. And you know, in part 1 or 2, we got the story of the Anne who jumped off the building and died, and stayed there with her until she died, and then she kind of had to just get away because she was seeing herself there, and she's like, no, I'll handle myself better than that. And then she got hired for this game show replacing another Anne who died in a car accident.
You
and
know,
then she died in a car accident.
The story between Sam's mom and the parallels between that and like Sadie's life, I mean, like it's really hammering home, right? Like this idea of being a woman in like a man's world or a man's profession, or you know, the man is more important, and like the weird creepy game show guy, like he's just old school and he's like that, and he just right, like you just have to like put up with that, and and like that's like institutional, right? But I think what the difference between Anne's story and Sadie's is like Sadie, as far as like their company goes, Unfair Games, and as far as like their friend group goes, like she is the institution. She's part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to be that way, you know. And she could choose to make it something different, and maybe it is to a certain degree, but she doesn't seem to be experiencing it differently, you know.
Yeah.
I think too, like this weird story here at the end about Sam's dog is kind of interesting. Like it's weird, um, but I don't know why it's happening.
Maybe the next chapter will give us something to
Yeah,
help us.
yeah, maybe so. Like I'm not sure what's going on there, but the whole thing about like misunderstanding the dog to be a coyote, and then like does it matter if it is, and like what's the difference, right? And like the difference is like the knee bones or whatever, right? Um, and people being afraid of it and not understanding it. I think it's like sort of a metaphor for him and Sadie. Like, what are they, right? Are they lovers? Are they not lovers? Are they friends? Are they not friends? Does it matter? Is there a difference, right? Like, what does that mean? You know, the dog just wants like somebody to care for it because it's injured in the same like similar to say well definitely Sam, but maybe Sadie like emotionally or whatever and physically I suppose after Dove, but also like there's this thing about like once the dog is like cared for it just starts howling, right? Because like it doesn't have like what it really needs or what it really wants, right? It's got this partnership but it's not what it needed, and I kind of see Sam in that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I kind of saw it as like a Sadie was saying, "Oh, you're the dog" or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's really how they are viewing everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They are viewing everything else as a coyote that's really a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're making life harder than it needs to be. They're overreacting to things. Like yes, life is hard and everyone deals with traumas along the way. Like that's what living is.
Mm-hmm.
You just dealing with setback after setback and adapting to these things, and some really knock you down and some really knock you down harder than others, you know. But that's just part of life, and you're supposed to reach out to your friends, and you're supposed to build a network of people, and you're supposed to be also looking out for others.
Right.
You have to see the world as bigger than just yourself.
Yeah.
In order to have a good time.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do that, which is why they're not having a good time.
Right.
They're literally making games for a living and playing games for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Like,
yeah.
It's a pretty good gig. Like, you're working hard, and that process is difficult.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know.
Well, you know, so now that we're talking about it, I guess I'm thinking about, you know, talking about, like, community and looking out for each other and all that stuff. With their Two Sides game, whatever it was called, the side of the story that flopped was Mapletown. It was the imaginary side.
The critics loved the imaginary side, but the people loved Mapletown, and that's why Mapletown became the MMO that they launched.
But where I'm going with this is that, you know, what they're doing now is literally creating this like early online community, right? And so like for two people who can't communicate and like can't integrate themselves effectively into a community, here they are and they're like doing it, right? But they're doing it. My point is that like they're creating the community in the imaginary, right? So like it's like taking the Mapletown part, but instead of doing it in the real world, which is what Mapletown is supposed to be in the game, they're moving it to Sadie's half of the game, right? The Mist Vale or whatever it was, right? I don't know. And I just see some parallels there.
Yeah. And Sadie was missing when Sam turned the whole thing on, and Sam was missing when the whole thing got up and running.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just completely missing each other, and so frustrating.
Peggy's saying that she finds the book too shallow to find any meaning. Like, we might be like extracting where there is none, right? It might just be a story, and that's okay. But she says she finds more meaning in the Boxcar Children, and I did love the Boxcar Children when I was a kid. I used to want to change my name to Henry when I was like really, really little.
No, I do like it. I like all these parallels that are drawn throughout. I mean, like, I do believe that readers get a lot more out than what an author puts in. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the point. Like, art speaks to different people in different ways. But I feel like there's just way too many intentional parallels in this book for us to just be grabbing at nothing.
Yeah.
I like what you pointed out last time, that there's a mention in one chapter and then a nod back to it with explanation and elaboration, you know, in the next chapter. I've really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Who did Sadie watch die? And she had to like walk away before she said she was feeling like she was in that spot. The same thing that happened to Anne happened to Sadie at some point. But I can't remember what the situation was, and I don't know that I made a note. And I hope I didn't just, like, dream it.
That does not sound familiar to me.
Gosh.
Peggy will know.
I might have dreamed it. But I remember Sadie going through something. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like what Anne went through. Shucks. I do have very vivid dreams. So... like, all the time at work, I'm like, okay, wait, did I dream that this happened, or is this real? I really can't tell sometimes.
Peggy says nope.
Shucks. I like how they came up with the name Unfair Games for their company, and that they all think that they came up with it. Yeah. I loved that. Yeah. I love all the storytelling part of the company itself and the creation of the games and how that's all working. That's all very fun. It's very like documentary-esque. Mm-hmm. I like it when Marks takes Sadie to the temple and they walk through the gates.
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
That was very cool.
There was something else. I might be making this up now. I feel like there was some other book where we focused a lot on doors and gates and like
Peggy.
You know, and I feel like I remember saying something like, you know, like what is a door? Like you know, like it's almost imaginary, right? It's a dividing line, but like a door between two rooms. Like, we've just decided this is a room and that's a room, right? And I feel like that was part of the conversation, right? Like, there should be no difference between these two places or something.
Midnight Library?
Maybe. Yeah, thank you. That sounds right. That actually sounds right. Yeah.
Well, gold star to both of you.
That was what I was guessing. I just didn't want to say it.
Yeah. That's what I was visualizing in my mind. But... that book pops up in my head a lot, but sometimes I can't remember that that's the book. She had so many lives.
Yeah.
In that book.
Yeah.
That I forget which parts were actually part of that book and which was something else. So, anyway. I'm a little concerned because some of the reviews that I've read, just like real quick ones, says that this book is heartbreaking. And that's why I'm like, is somebody gonna hurt themselves? Yeah. I'm excited for Samson to have finally taken care of himself and gotten rid of the foot.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame that they spent all this time, and he kind of reflects on that, to spend all this time trying to save it just to like chop it off later. You know what I mean? Like, it's rough.
Well, and they'd been telling him, like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's time. And like, had you done it, the quicker you get rid of it, the quicker you heal. You know, like, quit running away from your problems. I know it's scary. I know it's tough. But you just got to do it. You just got to go. And thank goodness for Marks. He'd still have his little bag of bones if it weren't for Marks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's probably my favorite character right now.
Marks has got to get out of this. They are going to bring you down, my friend.
Yeah.
I like that Marx's dad is finally proud of him. Good for Marx's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Peggy's so over it. Peggy, are you going to finish the book?
We only got 1 week left, Peggy.
Yeah, and it's not. This is a very short chunk. This last bit,
it?
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Seems it.
I guess we're supposed to announce our next book today, in theory.
Oh, I can do it now.
Okay, we'll make a short also, okay. But like, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Tell the people.
Are we done talking about this?
We can be.
Okay. So I've got to look it up real quick because I keep forgetting which one it is. So stand by. Talk amongst yourselves. What am I looking for?
So another thing that you would pick up on in this book as a gamer, which I think might be like just about the only one, is that Maple Town is this MMO that is sort of like a farming social situation. And back in the early 2000s, I think it still exists, but back in the early 2000s, there was a very famous like 2D side-scrolling MMO called Maple Story. That was a real big deal, and it still exists, but I don't think it's popular anymore. So
I wondered if any of these games. So the games that they play are real games. I recognize those.
Yeah.
But I wondered if any of the ones that they produced here are calls to.
They're very similar. Yeah.
Okay, so our next book is gonna be The Tenant by Frida McFadden.
It's like a thriller. That's blood.
That's blood.
That's blood. Sweet.
Peggy, have you been playing Oregon Trail and Carmen Sandiego?
Peggy, if you want a cool game that's like very chill and has the aesthetic that I think Ichigo was made in, there's a game called Dredge, and it's just like it's sort of like a cosmic horror fishing game, and that sounds wild, but it's got great music. It's really chill, and yeah, that's it. So I highly recommend.
What is your favorite nostalgic video game?
Favorite nostalgic video game?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough. Yeah, like we had N64 and Sega and all that stuff, but like I think I'd pick something probably PC related or something like that, or like there were some Star Wars games like back in the day on PC. I thought those were cool.
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, stuff like that. So,
yeah. NES, Super Mario Brothers 3. Give me that side scroll.
Yeah.
It's the only way I know how to play.
Yeah.
I really struggle in these.
Talking about side scroll, let me show you something I've been working on today.
Newfangled games, open world. You can go anywhere and move anything.
She doesn't do well with like the 3D camera view.
Oh yeah.
She needs that locked.
The first game that I ever played that was like that was 007 on N64. It was like a first person shooter or whatever. Oh, it made me so sick. Yeah. It made me so sick. Oh, I love Tetris. Yeah, Tetris is such a good one. I love me some Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I'll kick any kid's butt in Mario Kart.
That might be a big one for me.
Like that's one you could just pick up and roll with. Okay, sorry. You did the clap. It's time to go.
I mean, like, we're just talking about Mario Kart now, so I feel like we can wrap it up.
It's relevant to the book. We're chatting.
I suppose so, yeah. I suppose so.
I love me some Hogwarts Legacy, but I can't really play it on the TV. I have to play it on the handheld so that I don't get... Hey, have you read Foundation?
Yeah, we love Foundation. I love Foundation. We can't read it for the show because I have read it already.
Well, it is books we never read except for those we have. We can technically read something that one person has read.
Yeah. Well, so Foundation is the first of like a series. You can absolutely get away with not reading the rest of the series. And Foundation is good, but I would say this: you have already watched the show, parts of it at least, and the show is really good. I don't know your thoughts on the show, but it's a sci-fi, Peggy.
It is like the ultimate. So I mean, Asimov.
Yeah,
is like,
I mean, like it's like one of the cornerstones, absolutely, right? He's like the granddaddy of science fiction.
Like we read Childhood's End, but we probably should have read Foundation.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Foundation TV show on Apple Plus takes significant liberties with Foundation, and I love Asimov. I've read I think all the Foundation books, and I've read all the iRobot books, which are like after iRobot there's sort of more in the series, but it's all about like a robot detective.
Ooh.
And like doing detective stuff around robots. But even though the show takes these liberties, it's really, really good. And I personally like all the changes that they made. And it's different, but it makes it much better for TV. Foundation is kind of like about this like weird. It's about psychohistory. It's about like this weird math almost, and so like
Oh yeah.
it's kind of hard I think to make a show about that. The book you can do the book fine, but you got to spice it up, you know. So
Pond Yellow. Have you read Three Body Problem?
yes, fantastic book.
That's what got this show started.
Yeah,
Have you read Dune?
probably read Dune. If you're reading Foundation, you probably read Dune. I'm gonna throw this out there. There's a science fiction. I think it's science fiction. I guess that has been on my radar for a while. And on Fable, I've seen a lot of people reviewing it called "The Will of the Many," and I really want to give that a shot.
I need to become immortal just so that I have time to read all these books that we need to read.
Sounds miserable.
There is not enough time to read all these books.
Yeah,
What a shame.
what a shame. But I'm reading more with this than ever before. So.
For sure. Yeah, I'm finishing more.
Yeah.
I read a lot before this, but I didn't really like finish. I would just be like, this is stupid, and move on. Or get bored with it and get over it. But y'all hold me accountable.
Yeah.
That was just that one book I didn't finish. Ugh.
Yeah. That's about the only do not finish book we've had, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's about it. But yeah, we could put Foundation on this on in the hat potentially.
Yeah. That'd be great. Well, we're glad to see a couple of new faces here in the chat, and we hope you find something to read, and we hope to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
And Shelby, when you catch us on the replay, we missed you.
Yep.
You too, Sue.
Yep.
Greg, how you doing? Been a while. Anyway.
Yes. So go ahead and finish out the rest of tomorrow because we are going to be having our last discussion about this book next week, and we have just announced our book that we will begin next week, but we'll also put a short out for that.
Yeah, grab your copy of The Tenant.
By Frida McFadden.
Frida.
See you next time.
Happy reading.